Hello, everyone. I just finished grading the first part of your case study for Module 12 and just wanted to provide some feedback to the whole class, some things that I think might be useful. Remember, we're going to be taking this information and using it as we go into Module 16 and then your final case study write-up, which is in lieu of a final. Okay, so overall, it was very split. Some of you did really well, and some of you struggled. If I had to say in general, what I noticed is that the people who came to office hours or participated in the Q&A forum overall did better than people who didn't. Now, that's not an absolute. Some people did great without doing any of those things, but if you're looking for ways to improve your score, I would highly recommend coming to office hours or participating in the Q&A forum, as folks who did that really seem to have a better grasp on the whole thing. Okay, overall, there were two really common mistakes. The first was when coming up with the contribution margin. You had to take the sales price minus the product cost, and the product cost is whatever we paid per unit. So, for example, with the sunscreen, we paid $44 for 10 bottles, which means it was $4.40 per unit. And a few of you kind of missed that calculation. The bigger one people missed is the credit card fees. The credit card fees were a variable selling cost, and they needed to be included in the variable costs when calculating contribution margin. And I would say at least half the class missed that. Okay. The other thing was the fixed costs. The fixed costs included depreciation on the truck and depreciation on the generator, but not the entire cost of the truck and generator. And some people got messed up with that as well. Probably the third thing, and it wasn't as common, is a lot of people just didn't know how to calculate the composite unit. And so for those of you, I did leave you a comment that said you might want to go back and check out the composite unit page in Module 7. So that might be something to do. All right, I'm going to take a quick walk through my spreadsheet. It's not as pretty as yours, so don't take this as an example as how you should present your data. The way you guys presented your data was beautiful. But I did want to just go through this with you very briefly for those of you who might find it useful. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. So first of all, this section here, the ice, the popsicles, and sunscreen, those are your three product costs, and those are all variable. Those are your only product costs because everything else is related to selling that product, making it a period cost. The credit card fees were a variable selling cost, which is why they're included in contribution margin. Everything else is fixed. It's fixed because we're going to pay the same amount. Like someone asked a good question about the gas. The gas we're using to get out to the playa and back, and we're going to spend the same amount of gas no matter how much we actually sell. And so for that reason, it's a fixed cost. Okay, so then coming over here where I calculated contribution margin, so you can see I have my sales price, then I have my credit card fee, which is 4% of the sales price, and then my direct materials or my product cost. That's how much I actually paid for the product. You'll see I had to do some calculations here. And that gives me I wrote profit, but this should be contribution margin. Okay, then I took that information and I added up my fixed costs here, and I got a total of 6,000. So then I took my product mix and I multiplied by my sales cost and my variable cost to get my composite sales, my composite variable cost, and my composite contribution margin of 178.75. So then I divided my fixed costs by my composite contribution margin, and that told me my break-even units was 33.57. If you rounded up to 34, that was fine. And I multiplied that by my product mix to get my break-even unit. So this is the number of units of ice, popsicles, and sunscreens I had to sell. I rounded up because obviously I can't sell a partial unit. I can't sell 839.1.61 units. If you didn't round up, that was okay. I left you a comment, but I didn't take off any points. But you should round up because you can't sell a partial unit. So then when I did my target income, I did it the exact same way, only instead of using 6,000 fixed costs, I used fixed costs plus my target income for a total of 46,000. That gave me composite units of 257.34, which if you use 258, that's fine, which I multiplied to get my target units. And then I went ahead and rounded those up. Okay, so let's go back over to here. So hopefully, I know that was super quick, but luckily it's a video, you can rewatch it. Hopefully that was helpful. And I would say if you have any questions, come to office hours or post them on the Q&A forum. We'll get those answered before we move into week 16 and the second part of this case study. All right, overall, great job. I know you all worked really hard on this, and I really do appreciate that effort. All right.